Hello, I'm just updating you about my journey on quitting sugar. Decided about 2 weeks ago, just under 2 weeks ago, that I was going to give up sugar while I was in the lockdown. I didn't really put a time limit on it. I think I thought it'd be a good thing to do a blog about. I've quit before for a year, over a year actually. And it's something that I'm quite kind of passionate about. I'm quite passionate about health, food, what I eat. But I guess the particular reasons that I decided to give up at the moment, one of the things that is really heavy on suppressing your immune system, it turns out, is sugar. So I guess my thoughts on the whole corona epidemic is, if we had as a nation got more education and awareness, healthy food choices, lifestyle choices, then perhaps there wouldn't be so many people with such poor immune systems that are having difficulty fighting this, and as a nation we would be stronger. So the whole kind of way that we are looking after ourselves, I think this epidemic maybe will make people think that we need to revise it, and we need to start thinking, well, how can I strengthen my immune system? Like, it's not a kind of like how something has got into my immune system because my immune system couldn't fight it, so therefore how can I fix it afterwards? Well, that's kind of, in an essence, it's not looking at things holistically. It's looking at things from a sort of cover up, pharmaceutical, take a medicine, cover up the symptom, but it never really kind of, on a long-term basis, keeps you in a position of strength and strong immunity. But the other reason is I just didn't want to get fat. So immune system, I didn't want to get fat. I live next door to a convenience shop which sells like cheap bags, £1.50 bag of, massive chocolate buttons, etc. One of the problems was, as well, I was going into that shop far too regularly, and that wasn't something that I wanted to do, because I feel like that shop is an incubator for corona. And I was going and I was doing something that I didn't feel like, on one hand, I don't want to get put on weight in the lockdown, and I want my immune system to be strong, but then I was going and taking in loads of chocolate and stuff like that, and it was becoming a pattern, it was becoming a habit, and I decided that it would be a good idea to just do a blog about it to support me in stopping, which I actually never did at the time. I did a kind of mixed post about it at the beginning. I did a couple of posts in the middle of it, but I didn't get the setup really right on the film, and also I was so miserable. So reasons why I'm doing it, health really, mainly. The things that I found just from an overview from what I remember last time, is I felt better than I'd ever felt in my life last time. I felt happier than I'd felt in my life when I stopped sugar before. But when I stopped last time, when I took sugar out, I was quite strict for the first kind of 4 weeks. I took loads of things out. And I started noticing other things that were affecting me. So in the end, I ended up taking a few things out: sugar, dairy and gluten, because just from taking the sugar out, I noticed what other things were doing to my body. So, for that kind of sense of it, I felt really like I had so much more energy. I felt really, really happy. My skin was really clear and really good. So my moods were balanced, and I never ever, I just didn't get ill at all. I didn't get ill for like a year. I don't remember getting ill. I didn't drink alcohol. I hadn't drunk anyway for a few years at that point. So so these are my reasons, and they're quite strong, really. And I think it's funny because after about a year, I relocated to another city. And when I moved, I had a friend come to stay, and she came back and she bought me a treat from the shop next door, and it was like a bar of chocolate. And I thought, I haven't had a bar of chocolate for a year. And she was just like, I'll just go and have a bar. That's where it all began, really. You just think, and then you end up just kind of getting in a pattern without really knowing how you got there. But funnily enough, there had been another episode before that where we went on an all-inclusive, and it was almost like there was nothing I could eat vegetarian at all in Egypt, and the only kind of thing that I could really rock out was the cake section, and because we were on holiday I ended up just kind of letting it all go there as well. There's certain situations where you can't kind of, where you have to be a bit more lenient because the conditions just aren't there. It's if you and easy. It was really easy last time because I lived next to a health food shop, whereas this time I just lived next to that convenience shop that's just full of cheap bags of sweets and terrible food. And in fact, the last thing he said to me, the last time I went in there and bought anything, the guy in the shop actually just said to me, "Another binge," and like it's funny because I say that to him, and then the fact that he just reflected it back to me, it made me really aware of it. So yeah, so these are the reasons anyway. I don't really get fat. That's quite a big one. So what happened? So okay, so the first day fine. Felt good. I was craving it, but I kept thinking if you only have to get through one day, and it's only going to take 4 or maybe even less. But once you've got through the first day, then you're all right basically. As soon as you get through that first day, it's just getting through that first day. So it's actually quite easy if you can get. So it's all about mindset, really. It's all about your mindset and just not kind of you've got to be really present, I think, and really in the moment with it. Anyway, so the second day I felt all right, still felt good. I was definitely craving, but then I stopped that by having a smoothie on the second day. Third day, awful. The third day, I felt like, I was so flat and I didn't have any energy at all. I remember having to sort of scrape myself outside and just sitting in a chair, and I'd got sunglasses, and I did a blog. But the setup was awful anyway, and I just looked so miserable. I just thought, I'm not posting that. I just sent it to my friend as a joke, we just had a bit of a laugh about it. And it's like there was a part of me underneath that found it funny, but I couldn't find that within myself, and I could just tell it was just complete withdrawal. Such a strong, powerful. It's a drug, really, isn't it? Such a strong, powerful drug. Another reason as well, I think all my big reasons were there the first time I stopped. And the first time was only supposed to be for 30 days. But once something's gone, there's kind of no point always bringing it back because you don't miss it. But there's lots of things that I forgot about this time that I kind of have only just remembered in the last few days. How I was writing last time a blog, which is on my website, and I was really enthusiastic, and I just got for the first time ever really into cooking, and I got all these cookbooks and I was baking loads of things, and I was finding out all this new stuff. So my inspiration and enthusiasm with it just overrode everything else last time. This time we're in lockdown, like you can go shopping every 2 weeks or something. I was completely unprepared. I hadn't. Whereas last time I lived next to Waitrose, a really big health food shop. I was just in and out of those all the time. I had loads of money, just ordering all the cookbooks, just, put 100% of my focus into it. And that's just what I was doing. And I was Instagramming it and everything. Whereas this time it's almost like it got lost in a few other posts with a few other things, so it hasn't been like my main focus. But that in a way has made it easier because I did a lockdown that same week at home. Not a lockdown, but I changed my lockdown we're all doing a lockdown, into a retreat. So I was doing meditation and yoga, and then I was blogging about that, and then I was doing on top of that a digital detox. So this kind of like it wasn't really my focus. So before it was something that I was more kind of homed in on, like the main thing I'm doing, and it was the first time I'd done it. So yeah, anyway, after about a week, I think I stopped on the Sunday. By the Friday, I wasn't. I was all right. I don't seem to remember having any. I think it lasted about 4 or 5 days of feeling a bit tired. Friday felt all right, but I went and I bought some alcohol, and I went to buy some like slimline gin and tonic, which it's probably sugar, but I watched a documentary about sugar a few months ago, and it said having the slimline stuff is like 100 times better than having sugar in soda water, just because it's such a small amount and there's the volume that you get in sugar. So that was my excuse anyway, my justification. But I didn't have any of those cans of gin and tonics. I ended up buying a bottle and then another bottle of the tonic. And the next day, I think, looking back, I had like loads of emotions came up. I think I had either a huge sugar crash from just that bit of slimline tonic, or it was just, I've obviously done a retreat at home. Sometimes you get in touch with different emotions. But the interesting thing about it was that when I use a lot of mindfulness in, if I get any kind of, I've done a lot of retreats, you get a lot of emotions come up usually in a retreat. So, I'll just kind of go into, can you feel it in the body? Try not to judge it, just stay with it. And what I noticed is that the feeling I was feeling, it was like this need feeling, was the same feeling I think that I would feel when I'd want some sugar, but it was like an emotion. It was so strange. And it was like, when I'd feel these emotions, I would want some sugar. But then I'd be thinking, well, don't have some sugar. But then you get into this whole dialogue saying, well, if you're feeling upset and you've got emotions coming up, then you should probably just give yourself a break and have some sugar. But my thought again around that is that that's not the problem. The problem isn't the sugar. The problem is the underlying feeling and the kind of root of this. It's not really about the sugar at all. So that was a weekend. Anyway, that all calmed down. Thank God. And then this week it's just been fine. It's just, it's just not an issue. And I've remembered, I think actually at the weekend, what I must say is that I decided to kind of meet myself in the middle there. I didn't completely deny myself and my needs. I did listen to myself, and I remembered that when I quit before, I used to bake loads of stuff and make loads of nice treats. I used to make all my own chocolate. And I used to use like maple syrup and stuff. So I just made some Nutella out of coconut oil and just cacao, and then you can just put like the tiniest bit of maple syrup in, and then you can just like spread it on, like just oat biscuits are really nice. So you've just got biscuits. So I did that, and then I was like having smoothies and stuff. I couldn't be bothered to make any chocolate. I don't have the whole load of ingredients in for that at the moment. Yeah, and that was enough really. That was enough to kind of meet that psychological need, or that other, to meet yourself in the middle, which I think is really important as well. I mean, yeah, so whether that was connected or not, I think, at the moment there's so much stuff. I've spoken to so many people that didn't do a sugar detox that had a similar experience to what I had at the weekend. Just because we're in lockdown, just because there's so much going on in the world, just because. So this is my post on sugar. So going forward, yeah, it doesn't seem like such a big deal that I need to put any kind of timeline or restrictions or be too rigid about it this time. I think what's nice about this time is I feel like I did the groundwork last time, so I've kind of hardwired my brain to know that I enjoy not having sugar. It was easy when you're in the swing of it. It's not really a big deal, but there's certain points where you do need to prepare. And I think now I drink alcohol. I don't really drink very much, to be honest, at the moment in lockdown, but that is something you probably have to prepare and plan for. And often in a bar or a pub, there's not going to be, like, you don't just want to drink soda water, and there's not always going to be the answer to what you want to have. So in a way, it's kind of easier in lockdown. So yeah, we'll see. So I definitely feel like my energy came back. And I've lost I've lost over 1 kilo. Well, I haven't looked again for a while, but which I thought was like without really even trying. I haven't made any other changes. So that's pretty good. And yeah, other than that, it's not as dramatic as I was hoping, but maybe after kind of like a month or something, maybe after a month I'll feel a lot better. But let's see, yeah. So there we are. There's my post on sugar. It's good for building your immune system, keeping yourself healthy, to kind of reduce your sugar intake, and it's highly addictive. So going forward, yeah, I might do it for 30 days. I might just loosen it a little bit. I think that my experience with sugar is I'm quite all or nothing with it. So I'll probably just try and keep blogging about it, keep posting about it, and try and keep myself accountable. Post this on my channel, and then I'm kind of accountable, aren't I? So yeah, I'll keep you updated on how it goes. Have a good day. Thank you.